Where is the darn remote? Here it is. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final installment, or second to final installment, of Sonic Origins Plus, the extreme playthrough of the entire original Sega saga, or the Genesis saga. Now, in the last episode, we finished Sonic 2 as Tails, not necessarily because we necessarily wanted to, but because, well, I mean, basically, I already won that one, and I know some people might think that the use of the debug code was, pretty childish, I guess, or not professional enough, but as I had explained earlier, I mean, it was the only way to give Tails his super form, unfortunately. Kind of strange how, Sonic, Amy, and Knuckles got theirs, but Tails doesn't. Anyway, we continue on the adventure with Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Now, fun fact, way back, and I mean I'm talking 2009, 2010 or something, back when this channel was more or less to do with actual psychic readings, back when the channel itself was called The Video Psychic, I tried to record a playthrough, a supersonic playthrough actually, of Sonic 3 and Knuckles by use of a web camera, which in retrospect probably wasn't the very best way to do it, but I don't think, to be fair, I think back then I don't think there was any real established formula of how to take footage from gameplay. So anyway, in this extreme playthrough, we played Sonic the Hedgehog as Amy, Sonic CD as Knuckles, Sonic 2 as Tails, so now we do Sonic 3 and Knuckles as, well, Sonic. Let's see, start. Okay, so as the I think you can play as Amy in the regular mode too. I think the only difference between regular and anniversary is just the use of lives and arbitrarily cutting the borders to fit a screen. Kind of seems silly in retrospect, but so anyway, anniversary mode, you can play as either Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Sonic and Tails, Amy and Tails, or just Amy by herself. Of course, we'll be playing this as Sonic. So, for those of you who are unaware of the plot, basically, after we defeated the Doctor in the second game and crashed his Death Egg, it fell to a place known as Angel Island, causing Angel Island to fall into the ocean. I'm guessing now at this point the Master Emerald is still where it is, but I think the reason the island is not in the air right now is because, well, I think the Death Egg is weighing it down. So, anyway, Eggman, or Dr. Robotnik, whatever you want to call him, basically tricked Knuckles into believing that we were out to steal the emeralds. And, and thus why Knuckles is a jerk right now. So unlike Sonic 2, in order to get emeralds in this game, you have to go through giant rings, which are actually scattered throughout the level. So no longer do we actually need 50 rings to take to the end of the stage. This is also the first game, this is also the first game in the series that has an end level boss, so it's not just a matter... So the level doesn't just abruptly end, we have to take on a robot. Now, if you're wondering why I avoided the special stage there, it's because there's really no point in getting the special stages. They basically just serve to give you more rings or improve your score, but they don't really provide you the emeralds necessary to make use of any of the rings you gather, so kind of a time sink, actually. Now, Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles were actually originally supposed to be one long cohesive game with anywhere between 12 and 14 12 or 14 zones, depending on who you're playing as. Unfortunately, Sega had to make a deadline, and so, with half of the game literally already made, they decided to split the one game into two. Thus, the Sonic & Knuckles. So you might say that the Sonic & Knuckles is like... It's one of those cases where it was like DLC before there was DLC, if that makes any sense. You could play Sonic & Knuckles by itself, or you can play Sonic 3, or you can attach Sonic 3 to Sonic & Knuckles and play Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Or if you put Sonic 2 on Sonic Knuckles, you know, Knuckles and Sonic 2, etc., etc. Oh man, where... Whew. I was afraid I wasn't going to get that one. Now, I do have some good news. For me, this is like a victory lap because I think I have the most experience and practice with this game, so the likelihood of me needing to restart a special stage is probably almost nil. So... You know, at the time of this recording, the Final Horizon DLC for Sonic Frontiers is yet to be released, and I have my theory as to the form that Sonic had taken in that trailer. I think it might, for all I know, it could be a return of possibly Hypersonic. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure. It's kind of strange that, I mean, I will spoil something for you guys, although it may or may not necessarily be a spoiler. This game does have hypersonic because this is the only game he has appeared in. But yeah, they didn't tone down the color flashes, so I would have to imagine that if they were going to do like a hypersonic these days, they would probably have to maybe give him some arbitrary form or some denotion. I mean, at this point they can't just straight up make him like silver or whitish in color, because that would fall in line with like Ultra Instinct, you know. And fun fact, you know, and I don't think I mentioned this in the Sonic 2 playthrough, but you see, although Sonic for the Genesis came out first in the United States, and then sometime later, Dragon Ball would be seen to the public in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was actually Goku that had the form first, because, you know, this game and, well, Dragon Ball originated in Japan. In fact, I think Dragon Ball Z was already, what, 10, 15 years old or so by the time Sonic for the Genesis came out. So, yeah, kind of funny to think about. Also, fun fact, the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo, I guess there was some speculation or whatever that Goku was supposed to be like an unofficial mascot or whatever of those games, but of course, we all know that the world went FUBAR in 2020, so it would have been the first time that, like, for me, it probably would have been likely that icons would have kind of merged together, but I don't know. I guess we just can't have nice things, can we? Yeah, the one drawback about these elemental shields is that both the fire and electric shield dissipate in water. Okay, so one of the bonus stages you can play is basically a take on the Casino Night, you know, slot machine reel. Basically, if you get 50... Oh, well, never mind. Anyway, that's basically the general gist there. You gamble some rings, you win some, you lose some. Pretty self-explanatory there. It uses the Sonic 1 mechanics of, you know, leaning up against a wall, but not too much, because it'll turn to, you know, goal spheres, you know. So yeah, Sonic and Knuckles. I probably said as much already in another video, but I had a younger cousin who had Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 2, but I never knew. Although I held the cartridges in my hands, I never knew that Sonic and Knuckles had a lock-on feature. Never knew it. I mean, to be fair, I never owned a Genesis myself, so I never knew that either, but still. Kind of funny how I came so close yet so far. I mean, it's no big deal to me, but also another fun fact is that my first exposure to Sonic 3 and Knuckles was actually not on a Genesis, but a Sonic and Knuckles collection for the PC. So yes, my first experience with the game was actually with the alternate soundtracks, which this game actually has. It's kind of strange that, I don't know, some iterations they were able to use the original soundtrack and others not. I mean, a lot of people like to think that, you know, Michael Jackson's court legal troubles had a lot to do with it, but I don't know. Somehow, I don't think that would be that was the case, because here's the thing, like, I mean, okay, see, people want to act like, you know, once evil, always evil, right? Or, you know, oh, he's got to be guilty. Well, here's the thing. One, that's why we have a court system. We may not like it sometimes, but that's why we put it in place, to be an end-all, be-all, or deciding factor, when society can't decide on who's innocent or guilty, even based on the evidence, for one thing. Two, you know, if Michael Jackson was so, you know, guilty, you know, so infamous, then why is it that department stores across the United States still, to this day, around the holidays, and by that I mean Christmas, can have songs sung by the Jackson 5, of which, by the way, he was the youngest member and lead singer thereof at the time? I mean, I'm just saying, you know, our country, you know, I mean, we're of a once evil, always evil mindset, right? So you would think even the Jackson 5 songs, of which he was the lead singer at that point, would have been, like, stricken from records, or, you know, taboo to play in department stores or shopping centers. Nope. Apparently not. So, I don't know. I guess, you know, I mean, fair enough. I mean, some people believe he's innocent, some people believe he's guilty. I get that, but, you know. Now, 3, do I believe he's guilty? Well, again, you know, it doesn't matter what I believe. I mean, that's why we have a court system. Personally, I don't think he had the mental fortitude to, you know, do anything funny with kids, personally. I think he probably just didn't get the concept that, you know, a lot of that which he was doing was seen as, well, weird or, you know, abstract, you know? Because, you know, it's like he existed in a world where, you know, the kind of crimes to which he was accused of aren't very commonplace, you know? I don't think he had any intention of coming off as weird or creepy, you know, but unfortunately that's how the world saw him. You know, especially in the later years. But again, you know, I mean, do I believe he's guilty? I mean, it's possible he committed a crime. I mean, you can still commit crimes and not realize that you committed them, sure, but intentionally, I don't think he really did anything of note. I mean, to me, this just kind of serves as a life lesson that, you know, hey, you know, if you're a celebrity, you know, you might not want to hold slumber parties. Just saying, you know. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I apologize to those who I may or may not have offended, but, you know. So, Sonic 3, or Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you know, does have a traditional level select like the other games do. But the codes that they have for this game, are a bit different than the others. For one thing, I've tried this out already on the other games, Sonic CD, Sonic 2, in that there is a code here that consists of 8 zeros, basically all zeros. What the code does is it basically takes out all of the rings, including special stage rings, and all of the item boxes away from the stages. So, making for I guess, a truly extreme experience. Do I plan on doing that at some point? Maybe. I mean, I don't think I'll necessarily... I think it might take me a few tries to actually get anywhere, but yeah, I think an all zeros code might be in the future. Believe me, it's a very different game. I have tried once to actually play this game, as Sonic, using the all zeros code, and I warped myself to the Doomsday Zone, right? And well, I mean, if it's possible to beat Doomsday Zone with no additional rings apart from what you start with, I mean, I'd be impressed. Have I done it? No. I mean, I tried. I couldn't do it. Just saying. Emergency alert system. What the hell? Give me a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I had my cable box was flashing the emergency alert system, but apparently, I guess, I mean, it was just a late night snafu, I suppose. I changed the channel, or tuned in, and everything seems to be fine, so false alarm, I guess. I mean, usually it just flashes a message and, on the cable box, and just to say that it was a test. Now that I think about it, maybe that's what cable companies should do. That if they're just testing the system, the box itself should occasionally say the word test, so that way people know, Because just to say emergency alert system or EAS, could mean anything, An Amber Alert, weather-related disaster, terrorist strike, pretty much anything you can think of within the realm of possibility. How many is this now? 6? Yep, 6 emeralds. About a day or so ago, I was imagining a make-believe scenario where, I guess a make-believe scenario where, like, literally, like, Dr. Eggman and the Bowser King were trying to like run for mayor, right? Like, like two villains running for mayor, and third and independent candidate, Sephiroth, right? You know, tries to incorporate like his own brand into the mix, right? So, you know, you got like, I don't know, I guess Bowser was like, I think I imagined Bowser to be like the conquering party, Eggman to be like the Annihilist party, or another, or a competing, wait, isn't it up? Oops. Okay, I didn't mean to get there, but anyway, this is another special stage that you can enter if you have like a multiple of 50 rings. This is the gumball stage. Basically, it's a giant gumball, and you turn the dial, and well, out pops gumballs. This is one of the, you hit the gumball that says rep. It replaces the bouncing springs on the bottom. The black ones are actually bumpers, they'll bump you up. The red barriers are flame barriers. Blue is bubble and green is electricity. The yellow ring ones, the gray and yellow ring ones are, well, 10 rings. The clear ones are absolutely nothing, you'll go right through them. You know, it's pretty straightforward. So anyway, this make-believe scenario I thought about doing as a skit, since I have a lot of amiibos, right? I figured, okay, so Eggman and, you know, Bowser are basically going at it, trying to run as, you know, conquering party, and, you know, basically it ends with Bowser inadvertently saying something, you know, having been woken up on spur of the moment, having been woken up from, you know, taking a nap in the middle of the debate. You know, trust me, it would have been hilarious. You know, I'm surprised they don't make a video. I'm surprised there isn't like an indie video game where like you pretend to be a nondescript supervillain actually running for election against another supervillain. You know. You basically win support of, like, you know, superheroes or other people or other such things. I mean, it could be a whole game. One thing I didn't tell you guys about the sphere stages is that if you cut around the outer perimeters of a set of spheres, you can turn the other spheres inside into rings. So you can actually cut corners, if you will, in collecting the spheres. But yeah, that's all the Chaos Emeralds. Not to be confused with the other set of emeralds in the latter half of this game. What time are we at? 30 minutes? Tell you what, if this thing takes about another hour to complete, I'll probably just go ahead and end the video at the halfway mark and just arbitrarily record the second half at another time. I mean, I don't mind making long videos, but I've been watching the analytics, and I don't think a lot of you are real keen on long videos unless it explicitly says long play. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, so 3 Robotniks, it doesn't take away all your rings, it technically only takes away 100. Of course, if you're not very good at platformers, it may as well be 100, or all of them. Well, technically more than I started with. I do have a bubble shield, so I guess I can't complain too loudly. So, the thing with these elemental shields is that the fire shield, well, it protects you against, well, any number of fire damages. The electric shield here can actually protect you against electrical-based damage. And the bubble shield, well, it can protect you from drowning. You know, fun fact, in the Sonic & Knuckles collection, they didn't have a separate button for the transformation, so Sonic would have to lose his shield before actually getting anything new here. Because the button... Because in order to activate Super Sonic in that game, or in that version of the game, you have to actually lose your shield, because it uses the same button you would to attack with your shield or an insta-shield. Yeah, I know I passed up a giant ring just now, but I don't know. Don't want to break the pace. Okay, so here's the third special or bonus stage. This stage I used to hate as a kid. Basically, it's the glowing sphere stage. What you got to do is you got to basically traverse this stage and touch the glowing spheres. Now, yes, these spheres are the same as the gumballs, but here's the kicker, though. You see how my ring denomination went up by 20 instead of 10? The higher up you go, the more of a multiplier those rings are. I mean, I don't think it works for the singular rings, but the item rings basically have a multiplier. So the ones up here are worth like 90 or something. 80, 90, I don't really count. I haven't really counted, but so yeah, it is entirely possible to just rack up a whole bunch of rings here. Alright. Now, while Supersonic is fast and invincible, he's not completely immune to danger. For one thing, you can still get crushed or fall down a bottomless pit. So, fun fact, even if even if you don't have Tails selected at the stage select, you'll come here with, Tails will come in and save you anyway. He won't stick around, though. Unless you're playing as Knuckles, in which case you don't even fight this boss. So, although this happens to be the same track that I grew up with, it's not the same tone or pitch that I'm familiar with. Apparently, that was based on whatever sound card you were using at the time. I apologize if this music gets pretty repetitive after a while, but the good news is that I'll probably likely win this game, so and the challenge, so despite some hiccups along the way. Nah. So this is one of the few bosses that you don't actually damage directly. Instead, it's more of a gimmick fight where you have to hit the robot to get its core, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it, exposed so that, well, the spinning top can damage itself. I gotta be very careful that I don't inadvertently crush myself, because it's entirely possible to do so. Yeah, I suppose I can jump in here. See, right now, if I was playing as Amy, Sonic's pick sure would be replaced with Amy's in this machine. Okay, I think that's good enough. So, this coming October 1st, we got a lot of videos. I got a lot of videos lined up to be released on that day. First, fun fact, we're celebrating my father's 65th birthday. He actually does play computer games, he actually does play a few computer games, although I wish the frame rate from the games that I'm watching him play, well, watching might be too strong of a word. More like I occasionally look at what he's doing on the computer, and let's just say the frame rate on the games he's trying to play is just kind of abysmal. But, I don't know, maybe it works out for him. I mean, I don't know what it's like to be 65 years old, but I don't know. It's just kind of weird that, you know, for as many times as we've upgraded our computers over the years, that the only way we know for sure that we actually have an upgraded system, the only way for sure to know is to compare it to something that we had once before, you know? Because otherwise, you know, you don't really notice the difference. It's like watching... It's kind of like watching a television series from like the first season, and then going back and comparing it to like a more recent season or a final season. You know, just kind of amazing how far a show can go along, and with nobody noticing how people look. You know, voice actors that have changed since then, the hand-drawn styles that are slightly different over the years. So, speaking of draw styles, I guess there had been some kind of, well, I mean, it's a tentative agreement more than anything. So, apparently the writers might look like they're about to be returning to work, you know, having reached a deal to prevent them from striking, but actors are still out at the moment. I mean, I have to agree. I mean, the use of AI is kind of getting a little out of hand when it comes to some things. In fact, this might sound completely unrelated, but of late, you know, I'm trying to watch YouTube Shorts on my phone, right? And for whatever reason, occasionally I see videos where the person speaking actually sounds a lot like Sheriff John Bonnell from the police chase videos. You know, anyone remember Sheriff John Bonnell? I do. Anyway, this AI voice kind of sounds just like him, and I don't know if that was intentional on the part of the people who make these videos, or, you know, in an attempt to bolster their own views, or... I mean, I don't know, honestly. Personally, I think it's kind of in poor taste. I mean, unless John Bonnell is okay with it, you know. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, he or his next of kin should be entitled to kind of a few royalties, I would think. I mean, when you have someone that sounds almost exactly like something else, I mean, it kind of gets into a weird gray area that's a little hard to enforce one way or the other, you know? If you want to maximize the number of rings you get on this slope, it'd be in your best interest not to jump. See, I could have gotten out of there with 40 rings instead of 30. So if the goal sign can hit the ground at just right or in just the right spot, sometimes items can appear. Now, if you're interested in starting a level with more rings than 0, it'd probably be in your best interest to leave ring boxes alone where they are, so that they don't get added to your score total. You know, during the transition. These will actually do damage to you, similar to that of a robot, or badnik as they call it, but, you know, whatever. Supersonic can't take the hit. Oh, by the by, the jackpots act as wilds, so if you get like 2 jackpots and an Eggman, you lose your rings. That's good enough. Oh, fun fact. See this? If you continuously stand here and just spin dash and hold it for a while, these enemies will continue to spawn in. Netting you several 100,000 points in the process. Now, eventually, it'll cap out to 10,000 per enemy, and every 50,000 you get an extra life. I'll just go ahead and hit mute. I'll just go ahead and hit mute here, otherwise that sound's probably going to drive you nuts. So yeah, I mean, if you were playing the non-anniversary edition and you wanted to get some extra lives quickly, I mean, this is the place to do it. And I'll just move along once I get 35,000 or 350. Nope. Guess I can't quite jump high enough. doesn't matter how you exit that stage. I mean, you keep what you get in that stage, so... You know, I don't know if this was actually a thing in the Genesis original, but the Knuckles that antagonizes the player actually wore yellow socks instead of green. I don't know if that was just a programmer's way of differentiating the two sprites. I mean, I don't know, a Knuckles with yellow socks. I mean, would that be too weird, or... Sorry if I've run out of things to say. I'm trying to stay awake, actually. I mean, it's not that the game's boring, it's just I don't have as much energy, I guess, as I once did. Even though I consume energy drinks, you know, of late, you know, if nothing is on the line, you know, if there's no vital tasks to be done in the immediate moment, you know, I tend to fall asleep. I don't know. My father kind of took naps around the age of 30, so I don't know. I might be kind of there myself now. unfortunately, but, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Unfortunately, even though this effectively is a cutscene, my rings still count down. Crap. Well, it looks like I gotta do this legit. Alright, I think we did it. We destroyed the Death Egg. For good this time. Woo! And we can watch it crash into the ocean. Well, hey, don't go away, Matt. Just go away. No, ladies and gentlemen, we're not done. We still have an entire half of a game to go through, but that'll have to wait until the next part. Yes, I'm sorry to say I'm going to bust this up into 2 separate videos for your viewing pleasure and convenience. So anyway, thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and remember, for the low price of free, please like, comment, and subscribe to these videos. And I promise you'll be glad you did. Until then, see you later.